Donald Trump is the presumptive GOP nominee. On Tuesday, Hillary Clinton will almost surely become the presumptive Democratic nominee. But America has at least one candidate who is an actual, official, announced nominee of his or her party. Last weekend in Orlando, Florida, the Libertarian Party named Gary Johnson its presidential contender. Johnson is a former governor of New Mexico. He joins me today from Santa Fe. Thanks for joining us, Governor.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
Governor, whom are you trying to appeal to? You must feel there is an underserved voter in this election with the two choices presented. Who is that person you're trying to appeal to?
Well, when 50% of Americans now, when they're registering to vote, are declaring themselves as independent, I think I'm trying to appeal to the majority of Americans whom I think are libertarian. It's just that they don't know it. And libertarian with a broad brushstroke, fiscally conservative, socially accepting liberal.
And when you say that, what is the big break in terms of the orthodoxy of the Republican Party for you? You are pro-choice, you are pro-gay marriage, you are even in favor of the decriminalization of drugs?
Yes, legalizing marijuana, and let's stop with these military interventions that at the end of the day make the world a less safe place, the unintended consequence of these military interventions.
So I think that's all going to sound like music to the ears of many people on the left who think the Republican Party is too socially conservative and interventionist. Now, tell us what your views on economics are, because libertarians traditionally have believed in a very, very small state, so-called night watchman state that really takes care of defense, a few other things. Where do you stand on that?
Well, that government is too big. It tries to accomplish too much. So at the end of the day, it taxes you and I too much. That's money out of your and my pocket that we could be spending on our own lives, enjoying our own freedoms and liberties as we see fit. So with regard to Hillary Clinton and the Democrats, at the end of the day, I think they're going to grow government because government is the solution to everything, which I'm going to argue it's not. And at the end of the day, it's going to tax more. Hillary Clinton, I also believe, has been the architect of our foreign policy, which, in my opinion, has made things worse, not better in the world. So we're not isolationist by any means. Let's use diplomacy to the hilt. Let's involve Congress in a declaration of war. Let's involve Congress in how we move forward with regard to our military, something that they have completely abdicated to the executive and to the military. I believe we have treaties with 69 foreign countries that we are obligated to defend their borders, and none of those treaties were negotiated or signed off on by Congress. They were executive treaties.
Let me ask you a little bit more about one of the things you said. You talked about the decriminalization of marijuana, but in another interview, you said that the world would be a better place if all drugs were legalized. I just want to understand, you know there's an epidemic of opioid use. Heroin is a pretty dangerous drug when used often even in small quantities. You are saying that the world would be a better place if everything were legal?
Well, it would be that 90% of the drug problem is prohibition-related, not use-related, and that's not to discount the problems with use and abuse, but that should be the focus. So using this epidemic that right now is being really told to us by the government, it's estimated that 450,000 people die every year from their use of tobacco. It's estimated 100,000 people die every year from alcohol use. It's estimated that 100,000 people die every year from their use of legal prescription drugs, painkillers, antidepressants. How many people die every year from cocaine and heroin overdose? Well, it's 8,000. It's 8,000 deaths, which is significantly lower. Now, I'm not advocating the legalization of any drugs outside of marijuana, but I think that I think the United States will take a quantum leap when it comes to understanding drugs and drug abuse. And I think when we come to that quantum leap, which we're here right now, I think marijuana is going to get legalized. I think we start by decriminalizing the use of other drugs.
Who do you think, Governor, you are further away from ideologically? Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump?
You know, I think it's about a 50-50. And I'd like to say, there are good things on both sides. But when it comes to Hillary, I think at the end of the day, she is going to grow government. I think the taxes are going to go up. I think militarily, things aren't going to change at all in the world. When it comes to Donald Trump, deporting 11 million illegal immigrants, that is really wrong-headed, building a fence across the border. His declaration that Mexicans are murderers and rapists when in fact they're law-abiding citizens, more law-abiding than U.S. citizens. They're not taking jobs that U.S. citizens want. When he says he's going to kill the families of Muslim terrorists. When he says he's going to bring back waterboarding, or worse, when he says he's for free market, but then in the next sentence he says he's going to force Apple to make their iPhones and their iPads in the United States, when he says he's going to apply a 35% tariff on imported goods, who's going to pay for that? Well, on and on and on.
It sounds to me like you have more problems with Trump.
Well, broad-based, I can point to specifics when it comes to Trump. Hillary, I could probably point at all those same specifics. Bill Clinton was in New Mexico here campaigning for Hillary, and he was talking about free electricity for those on the reservation. Well, free. Who pays for free? Nothing is free. And that seems to be the Democrat mantra forever is get it for free, we'll give it to you for free. Well, there are those of us that at the end of the day have to pay for that.
Governor, pleasure to have you on. Thanks for joining us.
Fareed, wonderful to be on with you. Hope we can do this again. Thanks.